Yes, greeting classy. I welcome you to Metric Hub today. We are meeting on Public Administration N5 November 2022 examination paper. This is a full paper and a full paper that we are going to work on right now. So without wasting any time, I want you to note that Metric Hub is there for you. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and also keep connected to simplify your academic journey. It has been made simple and shorter through Metric Hub. Keep connected. So I always want you to know that when you are writing exams, instructions are very important. N5 students, you are quite experienced. You are seniors in this. So please don't forget to read instructions. Question one, without wasting any time, is what we are going to start, is where we are going to start right now. We choose the item from column B that matches a description in column A. So we write only the letter as it is indicated there. So I was saying like it is 1.1. 1.1, it is also called Government of the Day. Government of the Day is run by the Parliament. It is the government that runs the government, or is called the Government of the Day. So I'd say that the cabinet. The cabinet actually is the government of the day. That's why you see that we say H is the government of the day. The cabinet, it is actually the one that runs for the people and by the people. So it is the cabinet. Also, question next, the highest policy level in the public sector. I was saying the highest policy level in the public sector, it is the political policy. The political policy identifies the highest policy level in the public sector. So it is J. I'm sure if you can look at these various political parties that we have and how our political structures runs, we can identify that the highest policy level in the public sector is the political policy, which forms and which allows the establishment of the political parties and their expression. Each worker should have one direct supervisor. Each worker should have one direct supervisor that can also be defined as a unit of command. Unit of command identifies the command structure, or it identifies the communication structure, which ensures that each worker should have one direct supervisor. This is also to clear communication. So it is it is the unity of command, which is K. It is the unit of command that identifies that is brought into being for a purpose by the government and has wide powers. What is it that is brought into being? We are saying it is brought into being as to say it is established for a purpose by the government and has wide powers. So if you can see to that, we can also see that this is government enterprise, government enterprise. It is brought into being for a purpose by the government and has wide powers, which is I. It has got the government enterprise, has got wide powers, it has got variety of powers, and it is actually established for specific functions that it has to serve. The budgetary period of the government, it is actually uh, usually set as 1st of April to 31 March. We are saying the budgetary period of the government, it is set from 1st of April to 31 March, which is L. I'm sure for some of you who are following current affairs and who understand this, we know that it is always known that the budgetary period runs in that phase, April this year to March the following year. So that's how it runs. and then submits and presents the budget to legislature for approval. It submits and presents the budget to the to legislature for approval. It is supposed to be known that the Minister of Finance submits and presents budget to the legislature for approval. The Minister of Finance, he actually gives and presents the budget to the legislature for its approval. So it is the Minister of Finance, and then issues banknotes and coins. The banknotes and coins are issued by South African Reserve Bank. I'm sure that you know the Reserve Bank is Bankers Bank. It provides, among some of its functions, is to issue the currency that the country uses, that is the notes and coins. And then number 80, making one comfortable in a new workstation or work situation. Making one comfortable in a new work situation. It can be called orientation or induction. When a person or an employee is entering into an organization for the first time, he has to be oriented. He has to be oriented or inducted. So induction makes one comfortable in a new workplace, which is its induction. Induction makes somebody comfortable. You are given the knowledge, or you are given the understanding of the workplace that as a person you are going to work in, being introduced to the systems and all other things that a person is going to work through as he enters into the institution or as he joins the organization. So you are made aware and feel comfortable because of the orientation process or induction process that you're gonna go through as a new employee. Trying out personnel for a certain period. Trying out personnel for a certain period, that we can say trying out personnel for a certain period. Uh, Trying out personnel for a certain period. Number 9, we can agree to say that that is probation. When a person is hired, he is given a period of time, which we say that is upon that time, it is actually a period of time through which a person a person or an employee must prove to be the best suited for the position. So we call that probation, which is uh, letter E, probation. Trying a person out for a period of time. A person is going through probation. That is probation when an employee is going through a testing season or trying to prove and making sure that the person matches the position to which he or she is hired for. And then giving priority to previously disadvantaged groups for certain posts. Giving priorities to previously disadvantaged people. We talk about affirmative action. Affirmative action works to ensure that people who were once segregated or who were once sidelined, they are taken into account or given a priority. So we call that number 10, affirmative action. Affirmative action works to ensure that individuals in a society are comprehensively included into the economic framework of the country. So that is affirmative action. Number 10 is affirmative action, which is F. Affirmative action, which is F. So we can see that question 1, the 20 marks, we can get them easy, and it is possible to get all of them right. And then next question, it is true or false, which is always one of the questions that you always answer in public admin. Political office bearers are not accountable to anyone for the execution of their duties. These people, what happens is that they are actually accountable, as we can see that we can look into various structures that we have got the president, we have got ministers, we have got whoever that are appointed as office bearers, they are actually accountable. So it is false. It is false because these people are accountable. They are actually accountable. They really has to account. They has to speak on whatever that they have done and why it has happened that way. The premier is the head of the local authority. The premier is the head of local authority. We are saying the premier is not the head of the local authority. He is not the head of the local authority. I'm sure you remember the government structure. When you look into the government communication or government establishment, we cannot talk about the premier as the head of the local authority. We are talking about municipalities, which we can look at as to say, for instance, in Bloemfontein, we can say Mangao. The premier is not the head of Mangao, as we can see. Financial means is one of the external factors which influence policy. Financial means is one of the external factors which influence policy. Policies are actually not put only based on financial capacity. We are saying policies are not determined by financial means. So we need to understand that policies, when they are designed, finance and capacity cannot determine uh, the policy. We are saying that is false again. Communication means transfer of authority to the subordinates. Communication means the transfer of authority from authority to the subordinates. It is the transfer of information, message from one stage to another, not authority. So we are saying that number 4, it is false also. It is false. Communication is not the transfer of authority to the subordinates. We talk about that as delegation. Number 4, when authority is given to lower order individuals, we call that delegation. But communication is the transfer of information from one person or from one office to the next in order to allow or to ensure that there is completion of tasks. Number 5, uh, control. Control is to make sure that all personnel are carrying out their tasks in an efficient manner. When people are controlled, we are ensuring that they are carrying on their tasks in an efficient manner, which we can agree that is true. That is true. It has to ensure that all personnel are carrying out their tasks in an efficient manner. Span of control means a large number of supervisors managed by subordinates. Span of control, we are talking about not supervisors, it's just a number of people who are under a specific supervisor, not large number of supervisors. So span of control, it is not true. Therefore, it is what? It is false. It does not relate to a large number of supervisors managed by subordinates. Subordinates do not manage supervisors, but it is the supervisors managing the subordinates. Therefore, it's vice versa. Hence, it's wrong. Number 7, commercial banks. Commercial banks act. Commercial banks act as the bank of the state, which controls money supply in the country. The money supply in the country, we are saying it is controlled by the Reserve Bank, not commercial banks. So it is false. An accounting officer is appointed in terms of the Exchequer Act. An accounting officer is appointed in terms of the Exchequer Act, which also makes it true to say an accounting officer is appointed in terms of the Act which is given here. So it is also true. And then state staff development is when an organization makes sure that the skills and knowledge of staff are constantly improving. Yes, when people can undergo continuous staff development in order to ensure that their skills are still relevant and are matching the expectations of the organization. So it is true to say that staff development works to ensure that the skills of employees and staff are constantly improving. It has to do with that, the skills. Remember to talk, we are living in a dynamic world. Things are changing and improving every time. Because of that, we need to ensure that our skills, our staff skills are constantly improved. That is staff development. One of the generic personnel administrative function is to attend functions. We are saying generic functions of generic personnel administrative functions is to attend functions, which we can say that it is what? It is false. Personnel administrative functions has nothing to do with attention of functions. It is false that they don't attend functions. They actually, we are talking about their generic functions, not stretching and extending to attendance of functions. Question two. Question two, we are given here, which is actually one of the areas that we need to look at. And I always encourage you students that you should be able to understand the question before answering. So we are saying section B, discuss the Commission of Inquiry as one of the institutions involved in determination of policy determination. So from on key points to address, we need to understand that one, the commission is appointed by the president and the cabinet. That is one key thing. Commission is appointed by the president and the cabinet. They are the ones who are responsible for the appointing, is appointed by the president and the cabinet. So what happens is that they are not officials or political office bearers. These people who are within the commission are not political or office bearers. They are not official or office bearers. They are not official or office bearers. They are not official or office bearers. That is one key area of address that we need to also to mention in terms of the commission. So what happens again is that they are unbiased and fair to the matter that they have to investigate. They have got an equal treatment towards the matter that they have to investigate. We must be aware of that a commission of inquiry is set into investigation, or they are sent by the president and the cabinet in order for them to work unbiased. They are not political. They are not official. They are not official or political office bearers. They are not official or political office bearers. So what happens is that they actually investigate in equal standing. The chairman must be a well-known person. For example, we talk about Archbishop Tutu in terms of the state capture. We talk about Zondo, and other members must have expert knowledge of the matter in question. Other members must have exact or detailed knowledge of the matter that they have to knowledge of the matter that they are to investigate. It can only make recommendations after thorough investigations. I'm sure you have heard of quite a lot of commissions in South Africa, which we know that recommendations are made after thorough investigations, which are very unbiased and honest to the truth or level of the matter in regard. So the ministers and cabinet will have to make a final decision about about the recommendations. Minister and the cabinet actually have to oversight and preside in determining the final decision about the recommendations in terms of the commission of inquiry. They are given mandate to take account on issues that are burning, which needs to be uncovered, and their findings are based on equal footing, whereby they are not aligned to any side of the investigations, which they should have detailed knowledge of what they are investigating. That is one thing that we need to understand. So question next, we want to look at question next. It says, discuss political policy level as one of the highest levels in the hierarchy of policy statement. Political office level, political policy level. Discuss political policy level as one of the highest levels in the hierarchy of policy statement. So what we need to look at is that we are to understand that question 2.2. Question 2.2. What we need to understand is that when we look at this, we need to understand that it is always the highest policy level in the public sector, the political level. Remember, we answered this question in the previous section, which we asked about the highest office in the public sector. So if you look at this, whereby we need to understand that the political policy level is one of the highest levels in the hierarchy of the policy statement. So we should understand some statements here that it is always the highest policy in the public sector. The political office, political office is always the highest level, is actually always is always the highest policy level in public sector. Political office is always, it is actually always the highest policy level in public sector. So as we can see that the political office is always the highest level policy of highest policy level in the public sector. We must also understand that political parties work closely with the communities and work and know their needs. Political parties, they always work closely with the communities and they need to understand their needs, which all political parties have congresses once a year to discuss specific issues that are important for policy making. Policy making is based on Congress, which is actually made every year. It is done once a year to discuss those specific issues which are affecting policy making. So each political party introduces their points in which they want to govern the country. The governing of the country is based on what? On the introduction of points in which or on which a political party would intend or desires to govern the country. If the leading party accepts issues, it will become policy of that party and will become part of the government policy of the day. So if the leading party accepts the way or the point that are raised, actually it will become a policy of that party and will become part of the government policy of the day. These objectives pass as bills by the parliament. The objectives in this regard passes as bills by the parliament, where the political policies must be realistic. They need to be so practical. They need to be quite reasonable and based on facts and knowledge. The policies are based on realistic issues as we said, that there is engagement between the political parties and the communities. So they are quite reasonable and based on what based on what they are based on facts and knowledge. It needs to be up to the date. It needs to be up to date with events and problems within the communities. These policies, they need to be up to date with events and the problems that are within the what that are within the communities. So as you can see, we are saying as you look at these, you actually supposed to look at and accept that that's how these policies work. So class question 2.3. Question 2.3, name and discuss internal factors that have a vital influence on policy, on how policy is made. Internal factors that could have a vital influence on how a policy is made. Question 2.3. 2.3. So what I want us to understand is that we want to look at conditions of establishment in terms of internal factors that could have a vital influence on how policy is actually how a policy is made. So one, I'm saying conditions of establishment, conditions of establishment, conditions of establishment. So we are saying factors that have a vital influence on how policy is made. So each public institution has its own objectives. I'm sure that we know